Welcome in to the season finale of the Built for Tough Player of the Week show. I'm Greg Tepper, editor-in-chief of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine and TexasFootball.com. Thank you for spending part of your day with us as we celebrate and honor the very best in Texas high school football, which we've been doing all season. It's amazing how fast time flies when you're having fun and when you have an opportunity to honor some of the best players in Texas high school football. And each week it seems like they outdid the week before, and got to tell you, Week 11, no exception. Let's start with our Class 6A Built for Tough Player of the Week. It's Jordan Clay, the superstar wide receiver from San Antonio Madison, who went off in their win over San Antonio Roosevelt, 56-41, 11 catches, nearly 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. He cracked the 1,000-yard receiving mark on the year with the win. He's a 2-time All-American and also an All-District track star and basketball player. The Baylor commit also ranks in the top 25% of his class, so he's taking care of his business on and off the field. Speaking of off the field, he had an opportunity to catch up with Mallory Hartley.
Jordan, you guys needed 11 points to qualify for the playoffs this year. You haven't been to the playoffs since 2021. This year, you guys qualify. You win by 15, in large part due to your performance. Almost a 300-yard game, 3 touchdowns. Tell me a little bit about what motivated you for your performance last week.
I mean, it's just, I think really, the team really wanted it. We had a great week of practice, great preparation to play against these guys, and we knew what we needed to do, and I think we did it above expectation. We came out, handled business, and with the team doing what they needed to do, it kind of drove me to have a great game. But without those guys, Caleb Allen giving me a good ball and that O-line blocking up front, I don't think I would have been able to have such a game, and, so I really – when it comes to this award, I really want to thank my team for that, because without them, I wouldn't be able to do that. And they just put me in a position to have a really great night.
What was that moment like when that buzzer hit 0?
It was great. And I just think about it, Elijah, he's a receiver with us, but, he goes on defense every while to play corner, and seeing him come up and with 7 seconds left to come and catch that game-winning pick, it's just I don't know. I couldn't handle it. It was a little emotional just because, it's something that we haven't did in a while, and to be able to make history at Madison and end it out going to the playoffs with my team, it's a great feeling.
How did you find out that you were going to be awarded with the Built for Tough 6A Player of the Week award?
Coach kind of came to me. He was like, "Hey, I need you to be outside a little bit more early. Right around when warm-ups are ending." I was like, "Yes, sir." And I kind of was like, I'm assuming like maybe the news is here, they're coming to talk to us about making the playoffs, and he kind of brings everybody up, and we're just sitting there, and he starts talking about like an award, and I was like, I wonder what that would be for, and then he came up and he told me I won that award, and I really didn't know what the award was, and I didn't know how crazy the award was, but after I did my research, and I was like, that's a great accomplishment for me, and like I said, it goes back to just, the team played a really good game on that night, and it drove me to be able to have such a really good game.
Coach, you've had the privilege of coaching Jordan all 4 years of his varsity career. Yep. Where have you seen the most growth, whether that's in his game or maybe just outside of football?
Well, he's like any other kid that comes through high school. They show up pretty immature, and they grow up over time, and that's what Jordan's done. And, emotionally, obviously physically he's better, but, emotionally and his leadership skills have grown up over the last 4 years. And we see that every day now as he's a senior, and he's really grown up and doing well. And we're really proud of the guy he's becoming, along with the kind of player he is.
You guys needed to win by 11, you said, correct? Last week.
Oh, yes, ma'am. We had to win by 11 and
to make the playoffs.
And we're able to win by 15, so we were excited about it, and we're looking forward to the opportunity to play the next round. And
in large part due to Jordan's performance. I mean, he almost had a 300-yard game, 3 touchdowns. I mean, tell me how watching him on the sidelines has been like.
Well, he had a heck of a night, but, and for me, and what I told our team is that this award that he's receiving is really a team award, because, if that O-line's not doing their job, and if our run game wasn't as effective as it was the other night, maybe they double cover him a little bit more and make it a little bit harder on Jordan. But, he had a heck of a night, and all the yards and the touchdowns were great, and it helped us get the win.
Well, Coach, we appreciate the time. Congratulations and good luck in the playoffs this year.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And congratulations again to Jordan Clay, our Built for Tough Player of the Week in Class 6A. On to Class 5A, into the DFW Metroplex we go to honor Kason Garcia, the superstar junior quarterback for Carrollton Creekview, who was terrific in their win over Carrollton Newman Smith. It was their first win over Newman Smith in 8 years, and he put on a show. 305 yards and 6 touchdowns through the air, a razor-sharp performance for the junior quarterback. He helped Carrollton Creekview to their first ever 9-win season. What a performance for the Mustangs QB, and what a performance he had in his interview with Mallory Hartley.
Man, you guys continue to make history there at Carrollton Creekview this year. Tell me some of the moments that have stood out to you so far this season.
I feel like definitely the Newman Smith game stood out to me a lot. I feel like we haven't beat them in a long time, so it was good to get a win and really put it all together in the second half.
And speaking of that game, your performance was unbelievable. Tell me a little bit about what motivated you throughout the night.
Nah, I feel like we had a lackluster start at the beginning of the game, and so the second half, it was just coming out the ball was coming out natural. Everything just felt right in that moment. It just felt a good, it just felt amazing to do what I do, you know what I'm saying?
Well, and I feel like there's some people that look at it as, it could be an individual award, but really it kind of speaks for your whole team. So talk a little bit about your team and kind of how you guys were able to pull together such a wonderful season.
Yeah, our offensive line is amazing. They've been doing great this year, and our skill guys have just been scoring touchdowns. I've been giving them the ball, and they just do what they do. They get put the ball in the end zone, and our defense has came up in big moments that we need them to come up in. And so I'm just really proud of our whole team overall and our coaches.
Coach, a massive win for you and your ball club last week. This rivalry, this district rivalry, you snapped an 8-year losing streak, right? And you guys were down at half, you were saying, and you came back and you won it. It was all because of your guy, Kason Garcia. Tell me what that was like watching that happen, kind of unfold throughout the rest of the game.
No, we went out first half and we were doing all right, but we weren't doing things that we're capable of doing as far as our potential. And, we go into the halftime and we're down 17-14 and we're all thinking, what's going on here? Because we expected to do a lot better than that. And go in, we talk to the guys, tell them kind of what they're not meeting the expectations as far as their potential, and just give them a little pep talk and get them hyped up and get them ready to go. And they came out second half and it was very explosive. Newman Smith scored 2 touchdowns, but one of them was off a bounce onside that we tried, and the other one was late in the game. We had some of our reserves in, so we pretty much shut them out second half, and the guys really played. It was electric. It was a lot of fun. They had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun watching them do what they do.
Well, and your guy, Kason Garcia, he put up an unbelievable performance. 300 yards and 6 touchdowns, I believe. Just unreal. Tell me a little bit about his leadership on Friday night.
Yeah, he's been doing stuff like that all year now. We've been a little more balanced, but we know what he can do. He's just started playing football up in high school. I don't know if he did much in junior high, and so just to see him progress and see him become that type of leader that we need on the field. He took charge the second half, and that's something that we really hadn't seen a whole lot of up until this game. We played some other games, but this game had a lot of meaning behind it for the community and for our school. And for him to step up that way and all the guys kind of follow his lead and him get the ball to hit the playmakers, it was just a lot of fun to watch. And obviously, our team benefited from it.
Coach, really appreciate the time. Big congratulations to you and your ball club, and good luck in the playoffs.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Congratulations again to Kason Garcia, our Built for Tough Player of the Week in Class 5A. A reminder that the Built for Tough Player of the Week show is brought to you by our friends, your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. After the break, the Class 4A and 3A Built for Tough Players of the Week. If you stay with us.
I've seen a lot of Texas out on the open road, from up in Amarillo down to San Antonio. No matter
Welcome back to the Built for Tough Player of the Week show. I'm Greg Tepper. On to the Class 4A Built for Tough Player of the Week, where we talk about Caddo Mills linebacker C.J. Maul, who was mauling his opponents in their win over Van Alstyne. 17 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. He added 3 quarterback pressures in their performance as well. A dominant defensive effort for the Foxes linebacker. And even more remarkable, he moved from linebacker to defensive end this season. So he's a guy who is got that defensive versatility. That versatility was on display in his interview with Mallory Hartley.
Now, we'll hurry up this interview because Coach just told me that you got to get out of here to go do some community service. So I won't take up too much of your time. I think that's more important. But, CJ, an unbelievable defensive performance that you had on Friday night. You sound like a quarterback's worst nightmare. I wouldn't want to mess with you. Tell me a little bit about what motivated you last weekend.
Just love for the game, First, game, getting ready for the playoffs, I was just ready to ball.
Did this win feel a little bit different to you guys against Van Alstyne? I feel like, it's kind of that district rivalry.
Yeah, last year we lost, so, and they celebrated on our field, and we didn't take that lightly. I didn't take that lightly. So you couldn't go out there and, play good. Yeah.
And you're a senior this year, so I feel like that game was a little bit special for you. It was kind of like your last regular season game as a high school student. How did that feel?
Yeah, it's not really a good feeling to me, but hey, it felt good. Honestly.
Well, luckily you've got more to look forward to because you guys are going to be heading into the playoffs, and you're a senior this year. You're leading your team, hopefully to a run at AT&T Stadium. What type of a leader are you?
I would say I'm the type of leader that I hold everybody accountable, whether they're playing around. If you're just having a bad day, I'm gonna try to lift your spirit and get everybody to do what they're supposed to do. Get everybody, give full effort.
Obviously, an unbelievable defensive performance by CJ last week. In your own words, why do you think CJ deserved this type of award?
That was a really big game for our football team. And CJ flat out dominated a lot of parts of that game. What he did versus the run, what he did against the pass, causing pressures, having 3 sacks, and could have had a few more. It was just whenever we needed it most, he played his best, and it was awesome to see.
Tell me a little bit about who CJ is off the field.
CJ is as good a kid as I've ever coached. He is, from the moment that I met him, is a yes sir, no sir kid. He puts his nose down on the grindstone and works extremely hard, does what we ask. As a junior, he played linebacker for us. And during the offseason, we asked him to move to defensive end, and he said, yes, sir, I'll do whatever the team needs. But he had some hesitations because he had played linebacker his whole life. And you can just look at the first of the season and see him continue to progress and progress and progress. And once we got to district play, he started not only playing really well, but dominating. And it's been fun to watch a selfless kid do what is best for our football team and do it at such a high level. But I've told him numerous times about not only is he a great football player, but he is an even better person. And if he ever needed anything, whether it's now or 30 years down the line, he's adopted about 12 uncles that would give him the shirt off our back.
Coach, he sounds like a coach's dream, I would say.
Absolutely, and that's what you want. That's what I believe that high school football is all about, is develop young men, help them in the process, going from a young man into manhood and learning to compete for 48 minutes in between the white lines, lifting them up, patting them on the back, and going and doing it again. And he is the epitome of what we're trying to teach the perfect gentleman off the field and the ultimate competitor on the field.
Well, Coach, we really appreciate the time. Congratulations and best of luck heading into the playoffs this week.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Congratulations again to CJ Maul, the Built Ford Tough Player of the Week in Class 4A. I am so excited about the Built Ford Tough Player of the Week in Class 3A. We get to honor McGregor quarterback Bubba Zacharias, who was terrific in the Bulldogs' win over Troy, 25-22. They had to win to get into the playoffs and get into the playoffs for the first time in his high school career, and he was special in their win. 265 yards and 3 touchdowns passing, another 86 yards and a touchdown on the ground. He's in the top 10% of his class. He plays basketball, he runs track, he plays golf. He does a little bit of everything for this McGregor athletics program, and now he's got the Bulldogs back in the playoffs for the first time in 4 years and having a conversation with Mallory Hartley.
An unbelievable performance last week, but even Coach said, he's like, maybe stat-wise it wasn't, one of your best weeks, but you continue to put up these kinds of performances week in and week out. Tell me a little bit about your motivation throughout the season and, how you continue to put up big performances each week.
I mean, I'm motivated every week just to try to get a win. I mean, each week I'm trying to motivate the team, motivate myself to just get out there and do the best as we can, and ultimately to get in the playoffs, which we successfully did. But yeah, just to keep the motivation of the guys up as long as myself, just because being a leader, you have to keep the motivation up of everybody and try to root for your guys as much as you can. But yeah, I try to do my best to motivate myself as well for a game to be able to perform each night, no matter the stakes of the game, just to try to perform my best each game.
Absolutely. Well, Coach said you're one of the most accomplished and dedicated athletes in program history. And what does that mean to you?
I mean, I'm very honored to have that accolade or all the accolades that I do, but I mean, it's just backs up from all the hard work I've put in just to be able to, keep getting better and be as good as I can. And, you can always strive for more.
Absolutely. A 4-year varsity starter, you know this team, you know this program really well. What has been one of the biggest improvements that you've made from your freshman year to now as being a senior?
Well, I've gotten a little bigger. That's helped. But but yeah, I mean, I was kind of, when I was a freshman or sophomore, I was like, I didn't really know many of the guys that well, and I was just kind of like the youngster and wasn't really friends with much of the teammates, and it caused me to be like a little scared or anxious when getting out onto the field. So I wasn't like playing the best as I can play. But as I've grown and gotten closer with the team, my confidence has definitely rose, and it allowed me to play a lot better too.
What was your initial reaction when you found out that you were going to be honored with the Built Ford Tough 3A Player of the Week award?
I was very excited because, I mean, that just sounds like a pretty good achievement. Built Ford Tough. I honestly I didn't really know much about the award up until he told me, but I started looking at it, and it's really pretty good award that I've received, and I'm very honored to have that award.
Coach, I know that you haven't watched Bubba for all 4 years of his varsity career here at McGregor High School, but you've had the honor of watching him the past year. What has that been like for you as the head coach?
Well, especially this past year, he really exceeded expectations last year. When I got here a year and a half ago now, it was interesting our first few conversations, and to be able to watch him and to be his position coach, first of all, and to, watch him grow in the position of quarterback, but always within Bubba. He's had just a drive and determination to be better than what he had performed at before. And to watch almost every week by week, I honestly cannot remember or even recall him having, a bad game along the way. It seemed like he was always on top of his game, that sort of thing. And I think really culminating in last night, and I know stat-wise, he's had technically better games, but to watch the stair steps that Bubba has taken all along the way, and the way that Friday night I remember it was probably the second drive of the game where I'm like, this guy definitely wants his team playing another week. And I've been very fortunate to coach some good quarterbacks along the way, but I cannot recall a single quarterback that I've coached over the last 14 years or so that has played as hard and really seemed to put a lot of the game on his shoulders like he did. So last week, was really the icing on the cake for me, and at the right time as well. So
Absolutely. And I want to go off of that just a little bit. Obviously we know what kind of a player Bubba is on the field, and you spoke to his character a little bit, but tell me about the things that maybe that he's involved in outside or off the football field that the stats sheets don't show or the fans on Friday night don't always see.
Well, he is one heck of a musician, I'll tell you that.
No kidding.
And they're actually performing tonight, so
Sick.
I'll go out and check them out for a little bit as well. But besides that, Bubba is an unfortunate thing so I'm coming here I've spent my whole career in big 6A schools and got tired of Houston, all that involves, and, wanted to get back out to a small town like where I grew up. But so he has the opportunity, his first team all-district quarterback last year. He was first team in basketball, regional qualifier in track, regional qualifier in golf. And really, he doesn't, one of the most humble, most achieving athletes, here if not the most achieved athlete, here at McGregor High School. But to watch the guy walk around, to watch how he interacts with his teammates, to watch how he interacts with his classmates in the building, you would never know it. Just an absolute good student as well. Makes me really proud to have him as the leader of our team and, to, play on a team that I'm coaching.
Congratulations again to Bubba Zacharias, the Built Ford Tough Player of the Week in Class 3A. We're just getting started here on the Built Ford Tough Player of the Week show. After the break, an opportunity to honor one of the all-time greats to win the Built Ford Tough Player of the Week award, if you stay with us.
In Texas, high school football is more than a game. It's a legacy. From small towns to powerhouse programs, Friday nights showcase the best talent in the nation. At texasfootball.com/recruiting, we cover the stars of today and tomorrow with trusted rankings, in-depth analysis, weekly podcasts, and live commitment announcements, because this is where legends begin.
Welcome back to the Built Ford Tough Player of the Week show. I'm Greg Tepper. This is the 20th anniversary of the Built Ford Tough Player of the Week award, and it's been such an honor to be a part of such a prestigious award that has 20 years of history and 20 years of superstars who have brought home this award. In fact, let's flash it back to 2012 when the Built Ford Tough Player of the Week was a young man from White House, Texas, Patrick Mahomes II, who put his Wildcats on the mark with a terrific senior season, 4,600 yards and 65 touchdowns in that season. After that, he went on to Texas Tech, did a few things there, including being on the cover of the 2016 edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. And then it was on the NFL, where he was taken by the Kansas City Chiefs. And aside from that, two-time NFL MVP, three-time Super Bowl champion, three-time Super Bowl MVP, may lay claim to being the greatest quarterback in NFL history. He has done a little bit of everything, has the outstanding quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, but we'll always remember him as the Built Ford Tough Player of the Week back some 15 years ago. After the break, the Class 2A and private school Built Ford Tough Players of the Week, if you stay with us.
I've seen a lot of Texas out on the open road, from up in Amarillo down to San Antone. No matter where I travel, one thing remains the same. Everybody loves Ford here in the Lone Star State. Ford is the best in Texas.
Welcome back to the season finale of the Built Ford Tough Player of the Week show. I'm Greg Tepper. Our Class 2A Built Ford Tough Player of the Week, we go to Overton, Texas, to talk about their sensational quarterback, Rylan Holloman, who was all over the place in their 42-8 win over Cushing. 218 yards and 2 touchdowns passing, 100 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground, and just for fun, a 75-yard punt return for a touchdown. When you consider the fact that this is his first year playing quarterback, it makes it all the more remarkable. Remember, this is a guy who was an all-district wide receiver and defensive back last season. Now he may be taking home some more honors in all-district, but he's certainly taking home the Built for Tough Player of the Week in Class 2A and an opportunity to talk with Mallory Hartley.
Ryland, I want to ask about your transition to quarterback. You were an all-district wide receiver and defensive back last year, but you kind of took a big step up and you filled this quarterback role this year. How has that transition been for you?
Yeah, I've been the backup for a couple of years since freshman year, so I've been learning from our past quarterback, Bryce Steele, and he taught me a lot how to be confident. I know that was a big thing, be confident in what you do, and I just feel like I just keep gaining confidence each game, and that's really helped me as a quarterback.
And this year, you're a senior this year, and you kind of had to step up and be that type of senior leader, that your team needs. How has that been going so far?
It's been good. I feel like this year we've had a good group of guys that's leading the senior class and also the junior class. I feel like we've been picking it up a little bit more and leading as a team more as just the coaches leading us.
Coach, what I'm more interested in here is Ryland's transition from being an all-district receiver and defensive back a year ago, transitioning to be the signal caller. What kind of went into that decision?
Just going through what we've seen in football as well as the other sports that he participates in, plays a big role on our basketball team and on our baseball team as well. The athletic ability displayed throughout the last 3 years since his freshman year and all of those things that knew that he had a potential to have a great year and just seeing him step into that role and take more of that leadership role, especially over the last 3 weeks. I think our team and as well as him is kind of he's really felt more comfortable, and our team is starting to hit the stride I think that we need to be going into the playoffs. And a lot of that just comes with times and live reps. It's hard to do that he had played a little bit at the end of games, but mostly that was in handoff situations. So this was a transition that we knew, or we felt as a coaching staff, that he had a really good chance to be successful at.
Well, and he had a phenomenal performance last week as well. Tell me a little bit about what that's been like to watch him on the sidelines as his coach.
Really just the maturity like I said, the last 3 weeks since our open week. I think he's sitting at about 200 yards passing per game and at least 100 yards rushing per game in those last 3 games. So just seeing, I think it's starting to slow down a little bit for him as we've progressed through the season. Our other guys on the team are starting to kind of fill some roles that we were trying to fill from what we've done the last couple of years with guys that we've lost and new guys stepping in. So everybody's starting to get a little more comfortable in what their role is on the team, and it's just fun to see him and the rest of these guys take off.
Really appreciate the time. Congratulations on a great season.
Yes, man. Thank you.
Congratulations again to Ryland Holloman, the Built for Tough Player of the Week in Class 2A. Last but certainly not least, we go to the private school ranks to talk about San Antonio Antonians' outstanding running back, Topper Sterling, who in their win over rival Central Catholic went nuts. 35 carries, 315 yards, and 5 touchdowns on the ground. And by the way, he's been the walking wounded all year long. He's been battling through ankle and hand injuries all season long, but he put on a clinic in their Week 11 victory over Central Catholic and had an opportunity to talk with Mallory Hartley.
Topper, a phenomenal performance that you put up last week. And honestly, every single week is kind of what Coach hinted at. Who do you credit your performance to last week?
Well, I couldn't do anything without my own line and Coach Fushek, so that's where everything goes to.
And I talked to Coach a little bit about this, but you've battled some injuries this year, but you've continued to push through those, and continue to put up insane performances week after week. Tell me a little bit about working through those hardships and what's motivated you.
Well, something that's always motivated me to keep pushing through injury and all those hard times is I've always wanted to play football at the highest level, and I've been playing football for a long time since I was a little kid. And I wouldn't want my younger self looking at me now and me not playing through something like that. So I want to always push forward to the best I can and be the best teammate I can to my team.
And I know this is kind of your first year here at San Antonio Prep, but what did the win feel like for the rest of your team? Because I know it was kind of like that rivalry win, right? How did it kind of feel for the rest of your team and for you to be a part of for your first year?
It was I've never been around an atmosphere like that before, coming from a smaller school and coming from what we do over here at Antonian. It was a really big, like, I've never seen a stadium filled that much through my football career. And I had a lot of fun beating Central, so it was a lot of fun.
Coach, I know that Topper has been dealing with injury throughout this year, but he has continued through those hardships and pushed through and continued to put up insane stats week after week. What has that been like for you to watch that as a coach?
Sure. So it starts with Topper. It's with his mental toughness, right? And it's something that you talk about with the kids all the time, but it doesn't come naturally for a lot of people. And for Topper, it does. He's got a passion for the game and a willingness to put the team first. And what comes along with that is that mental toughness. And he's able to play. We don't ever ask our kids to play through injury, but we're going to ask them to play through pain. It's part of the game. And Topper does a great job of dealing with the bumps and bruises, but continuing on.
What kind of example do you hope that this type of award sets for the rest of your team? You know, I think it can be seen much like a team award rather than just an individual award.
Yep, that's exactly right. Anytime that you have the performance that he had, rushing for 315 yards in a rivalry game, the first 5 people that you should thank are the 5 offensive linemen, right? And he talked about that after the game, how important it was that our offensive line did a great job. And an award like this, like you said, it's a team effort. And so it's something that we're all excited about. Obviously, Topper is well-deserved, but our team did a great job Friday night blocking for him. And then what comes along with that, too, is a passing game, right, to create some of the, openings for Topper.
And, Coach, tell me a little bit about the kinds of things that Topper's involved in off the field that maybe, the fans on Friday night don't see or the stat sheets don't show.
Sure. So Topper dedicates himself off the field as well. We had a tragedy here in this region over the summer, and he's from Comfort, Texas, which was also hit by the floods. And so it was a tough time for this area in the summer, and Topper dedicated some of his time to kind of helping clean the area and do what he could to kind of provide for those that were in need. And it speaks volumes for the type of person that Topper is. But more than just the things that he does off of campus, he's been an ambassador for our program. He's the kind of kid that you hope and dream that you get to coach. And it's a lot more than just how good of a player he is, because he is a really, really good football player. But it's the energy that he brings. You kind of gravitate to his personality, and he's been a tremendous asset for our football program.
Coach, appreciate the time and good luck the rest of the way. Thanks for joining.
Thank you so much. Much appreciated.
Congratulations again to Topper Sterling, the Built for Tough Player of the Week in the private school ranks. Well, this is the season finale of the Built for Tough Player of the Week show, and what an honor it has been for us to be a part of the 20th anniversary of this most prestigious award in Texas high school football, honoring the very best and brightest stars of Texas high school football, both on and off the field. And a reminder that if you've missed any of our shows or any of the honorees, go to FordPlayerOfTheWeek.com and you can learn all about the sensational players that we have had the opportunity to talk about as the season has gone on. And of course, the next time we see these young men, we will see them at the Built for Tough Player of the Year banquet in January. So excited for that, and so excited to bring that to you live on all of our channels. That's going to do it for us here on the Built for Tough Player of the Week show. For our producer, Blaine Tatum, I'm Greg Tepper. We will see you at the banquet in January.